Yeah, it's quite a ways down.
You're better off just making a static shot and let them drive.
That's what I figured I was going to cut it.
I mean, you just stop zooming, you know. Okay, now the shot starts,
yeah.
right?
Well, that's what I figured.
Except your composition's screwy because you got all this bothersome here. If you'd have panned off the left a little bit so that the road wasn't dead center in the frame, see, it's better there now.
Yeah.
All right. No, you still got to try and cut it.
Okay. I'll try.
To check around. I'll think of the name in a minute, but it's a great big promotion thing. They'll advertise if they have on the premises security, and then after you've come in and you've signed the agreement, your lease, and you've lived there a few days, you find out that their on the premises security is a maintenance man or just another tenant.
I really feel that what you put in a person's mind when you advertise security is the idea of armed guards or of armed people available at one's call. U.S. Park. No, I'm good.
We have a good reputation. It's worth it. How does that show?
And make sure that the groups that are involved are interested. Okay, I know who my councilman is, but what about the other people? Because ultimately, now in Oklahoma City we had a mayor-council foreman.
I know the Oklahoma City Police Department excessive force to your forcible felonies. Now that's going to take into account rape, robbery, kidnapping.
Wade Watts is supposed to speak on it.
There's a need to show willfulness or an intent to do that. And that has been a way to sort of keep that kind of action from happening too, because it doesn't cover it.
Hi, nice to see you. Nice to have you. Oh, she's a little shy. Nice to see you. Pleasure to have you here.
Donna
Wife Donna.
Good to have you. Some of our other
Calvin, nice to see you.
Thank you. Belinda Donna.
We have to have it going the other way, don't you see? And here I am just talking away. Now I have to turn away. Thank you.
Well, we got to keep Oklahoma democratic, and it takes work. And we've got women in almost every town in the state that we work. Man, you know when President Carter and President Mondale, Miss Carter came, we don't ever go to bed. We just get all the work done.
The propaganda, of course, is on the part of Castro, and immediately all over the city they painted posters, big, huge posters, large garbage cans, painted stripes, stars and stripes like United States, and showing those people who, if you want to leave Cuba, you must not be a normal person, but some kind of a derelict. And of course all these posters were up about garbage cans or big oversized toilet bowl and showing via Peru. Castro, as far as Russians, they think he's a blunderer, but they cannot possibly dump him. They need him.
Can't they replace?
Any inmate that wants to send money out has to write out a transfer slip, send it to the captain's office. The administrative captain will call that inmate down personally and ask him what it's for. If he says his wife needs the money to support his kids, you know, we're not going to interfere with that. If we check the relationship, verify if it's his wife or not, and then we'll okay that transfer to go out.
Through? How am I doing?
Enjoyed it, fellas.
I had about a half a dozen phone calls last night at my home. I had about 3 this morning. I had one man to come in this morning and say that he was going to try to organize a committee to do something. I understand that the property owner in Okemah has contacted some national personalities, most notably Guthrie's wife and his son. His sister lives in Seminole, by the way, about getting some national input into this, perhaps doing a benefit concert with the proceeds to go to a Woody Guthrie memorial or something like this. My staff is ready to assist, but we've got to have some kind of additional outpouring of public support that this needs to be done. Come on, guys, let's get out and get something happening. And when we get that, we're prepared to move on it.
Approximately 15 months. Told me what to do. Then he turned me over to the secretary for the state on 10th. And
with due regard and respect for the letter that you may have received from the county, this was unquestionably in connection with a possible felony and not with a minor municipal ordinance violation.
She was a suspect in a crime, was brought in by the police, and was treated in our hospital. And so that would seem to indicate that she had, somebody had her in custody, and whoever had her in custody would have the responsibility for paying the bill. I guess it'll take some kind of legal action to decide who it is who has the responsibility for her, or had it at the time that she was brought here.
Jobs or things like this?
Broadcast journalism, state agency, is something which would have to be a 4-year degree. Pay the bill. I think there's a legitimate question in everybody's mind. Whose inmate is it? As I said, nobody's going to want more than the cost of the bill, so get into a lot of strange things. We'll just have
Quinn Black, Nah Lie, Serena Acock. Okay, what I need to do is... Okay, sign your name in there for me. Put how old you are. Okay, what's your name? Pamela.
We recommend that they will check with their school councils and at each of the schools where they attend, pick up an application, take this application home. After their parents have assisted them with completing the application and have signed the application, then it should be taken to the nearest employment service office.
To the extent that construction work in progress can be shown to be of present to allow some construction work in progress in this rate case.
Well, there'll be a decrease of approximately 5%, 4.92% in the overall rates. It'll be determined actually, though, when we restructure the rates, you could receive a little higher rate reduction or a little lower rate reduction, but on the average, it'll be approximately 5% in your annual bill. If you had a $100 bill on an annual basis, you pay $95.
Sugar Bay, this is Canadian County React 5. Have you covered this section here, this square mile section?
From right here, we went all the way back over to the street that runs behind Crossroads Mall.
I'd like to say whoever that took her away from here, if they would please just call to give us some idea where she would be so we can find her, I'd appreciate it. They can call my home, and somebody will be there, and they can just tell us, give us some clue where she is so we can go take her home. Please. You don't have to tell who you are. You don't have to say anything. You just tell us where she is. Please just tell us where she is.
Honey.
And I want to say thank you to everybody who's helped us through all this. And we appreciate everything that Channel 4 and all the other news stations and the police department and the other people React have done for us, and the church and all of the neighbors and friends. We appreciate all your help, and I don't know how to say thank you. But please, if you know where she is, just call 631-2792. That's all.
That's fine. I don't want to drag it out anyway.
This D.E.S. implants. I don't think there is. Of course, I'm not a research scientist, but what I read and hear, it's one of the least dangerous things we got. Oh, they can have them, you bet. I'll be glad they come get them right now if they take them.
What do you...
La niña le cogió miedo a la... ¡Vamos! ¡Hey!
Tu hermano nene está aquí. Yo aquí no conozco. Esto aquí yo no sé qué cosa.
You want to give a telephone to his family?
Yeah, and tell him that he's here and he's okay. Is that what he wants?
Yeah, tú solamente quieres saber si está, que tú quieres verla.
Sí.
He just wanted to let the family know that he's here
Okay, tell him we'll try.
Ellos van a tratar. Está bien. Ellos van a tratar de hacer todo lo posible para hacerlo. Bien, gracias. Mañana. Gracias.
Hello, is this Lenora Zaza? Okay, this is Lisa Thompson from Oklahoma City. I work at a television station at Channel 4 News, and I'm calling about your brother. He's in Arkansas at Fort Chaffee, and he asked me to call you to tell you that he is okay, that he's not sick or anything, that they're taking very good care of him, and that he has been settled there with the other refugees. You have a job in the hospital where he could work in Miami? And you say that you have a job for him. Okay. Uh-huh. And you, now, are they with you? Are they?
Yeah.
There are only 2 rounds in it. Sit! Do it. Fire. Sit!
Well, it's not going to affect our movement down or our return movement, and it's not going to affect our training while we're there. Really, the only impact it is going to have is that our combat units will be in a field environment for 2 weeks, and our combat support units will be in a tent city on post for the 2-week period down there.
Get him ahead, it's danger.
Heel.
Yeah. Where are you gonna put it?
About 9 more besides what?
Damn, you guys are strong. Yeah.
The girl were already dead. She was just a black heap. They'd knelt her down right in front of the sand and shot her. And then they blindfolded the boy. Well, you mean they made the boy watch the girl die? No. They practically had to carry him into the middle of the square. And then they made him kneel. We had about 40 to 50 phone calls, 98% of them all very favorable. People who called in thanking us for the opportunity to see the film and make their own judgment. We decided it was a credible film, it was well done, that it did have balance, and certainly there was controversy surrounding the film. So we made a decision to air it, we made a decision to carry a follow-up program, and then the people who called in last night recognized that and thanked us for it. It's the story of 200 million people, the whole Arab predicament.
Which is called Death of a Princess. The 2-hour TV film is a dramatized reconstruction of the princess's life and death as told through a British journalist.
I didn't hear a gas bell. Yeah, we tried to, but we wasn't moving quite as fast as you was. What's good over, son? You get no need of blood on that coat over. Or what you get some blood right back there behind you?
When they pulled up there and they told them to get out and hit the ground, well, they simply got out and hit the ground. That was it.
Well, they're juveniles. One of them's from Bloomington, Illinois, and the other one's from Springfield, Illinois. Only they're white males, both of them 16 years old. Only information I can give on that.
Most of today's testimony centered around the search of defendant Jack Anthony's home the day after he was arrested. FBI agent Cloyce Choney testified he found 3 files in a cabinet labeled with the names of the wiretap victims, dentist Jerry Lucas, and 2 psychologists, Richard Sternloff and Vernon Sisney. Choney mentioned a 4th file with the name Susie Pritchett. She's an assistant U.S. attorney and leading a federal investigation into the Barkouris Foundation. Defendant Jack Anthony was serving as vice chairman of that organization at the time of his arrest. When FBI agent Michael Napier took the stand, the prosecutors brought out other items taken in the search: 2 tackle boxes with wire and recording equipment, a telephone lineman's belt, and a repairman's receiver. But the defense attorneys objected to those items being used as evidence. They said they weren't properly identified. Judge Lee West agreed with them for now. In today's testimony, the jury heard the first references to the Barkouris Foundation and George Barkouris, its founder. The prosecution has objected every time Anthony's attorneys have wanted to go into detail about that organization, but it won't be the last time Barkouris is mentioned in connection with this case. Susie Webb, News Center 4.
What do we have on the north?
It used to be worse than this before they put a channel back on the Airport Road. They cut a channel out, and that kind of let a lot of it out. And then flood control dams around it has helped back the water pretty good.
Okay, do we have some families and some people who are going to have to be evacuated from this area, or can people stay in their homes?
Well, that's what we're checking now. I think some of them has voluntarily left, and it don't look like we're going to have to evacuate anybody right now.
But our main thrust really is to control the on-premise consumption. We already have it now, as you know. Liquor by the drink is a word, phrase that we use, but we have liquor by the drink, and we're trying to develop a responsible control and a common sense control of what we already have.
I think it's a moral question, it's a political question, it's a question of welfare, it's a spiritual issue in some ways. I would say the biggest issue is the question of welfare, and that is, what is the welfare of our populace worth? I mean, is there a point at which we will sell out?
They want drugs, and they'll do anything to get them. And lately it has meant going into one of Tulsa's many pharmacies. Instead of paying money, the recent customers have used guns. This man is one of them.
It's just knowing that there was a chance that I would have plenty of drugs to use following the robbery. It was worth it to me to try it. When the methadone center was opened, most of the drug addicts on the streets that were on the program could get by without the street drugs. With the closing of the methadone program, that forced everybody back to the use of street drugs.
But he told me it's hard to feed your habit on the street. But without money, they do what he did, find a drugstore and rob it. Drugstores like Freeland Brown Pharmacy have been hit frequently. And the robbers have been after the same thing, Dilaudid, a Schedule II narcotic, the same drug this man was after when he got caught. A lot of drugstores are placing signs like this one on their door to hopefully stop would-be robbers in their tracks. I asked the robber we talked to today if it would have stopped him. He said absolutely. Why go in when you can't take anything out?
I would not want to tie the warden's hands in any situation that says that if gas was appropriate, that it could not be used. Now, we do not want to do anything that's going to lead to someone's death, and we certainly would not want to do something that would be inordinate use of gas. But I should also not take any responsible tool out of the warden's hand if it is a proper order for him to give to handle a situation in that institution.
So gas.
We need some people from Mustang and Mustang.
Our building has 5 grown children. More than any other city manager we've ever had. You'll see. Have you any experience in police administration? I have. Evaluate employee performance the one day you were in this office for.
We have heard enough tonight to see that Mr. Wimleth is not doing an adequate job, that he does not respond to citizens' needs, such as tick infestation, a city park with mosquito infestation and filth, a flooding problem in Carroll Acres, and now inadequate police protection.
We have to look at the crime stats available that are collected by this department. We have taken expert recommendations into staffing levels into view, and we have determined that 5 is the optimal range for a community this size given its crime stats.
But prevent a man from breaking in on my only way your actions could be changed with
No more outbursts.
Protection. Not the people who live in Oklahoma City, us.
Next.
We see all these people in front of you.
My tips right here. Get your chair on me.
Why this is done, I don't know. Yes, it will take more donated dollars to replace the loss here, to put us back in service so we can do our job of rendering service to the community.
To help Fritz, to make him well again. They can learn a lot. Okay.
The court heard testimony from the other 2 wiretap victims today. The defense continued to try and show those victims had hostile feelings toward George Barkouris. At the time he was arrested, the defendant, Jack Anthony, served as vice chairman of the Barkouris Foundation. Dentist Jerry Lucas testified that at one time he and his wife were patients of George Barkouris. He had donated money to the foundation. Then Haynes asked Lucas how he felt about Barkouris. Lucas admitted he hadn't had much respect for the man since 1977, the year Lucas was divorced. Haynes asked, "As of this moment, is it your belief that the relationship between your wife and Barkouris caused your divorce?" Lucas answered, "It was the trigger of a long, anguished marriage." Lucas's ex-wife is now executive director of the Barkouris Foundation. U.S. Attorney Larry Patton asked, "Are you out to get Barkouris?" Lucas, no. Then Dr. Vernon Sisney was called and was asked to identify some photographs of himself. The prosecution wants to prove those pictures were taken by the defendant without Sisney's knowledge. Then the defense asked Sisney if he gave the FBI names of people he thought might be in conflict with George Barkouris and might have their phones tapped. Sisney said he did, and Jerry Lucas was one of those names. Today's testimony was involved, with the defense trying to weave their thread of conflict throughout the testimony. But the jurors will get a 3-day break, and the court will convene again Tuesday morning. Susie Webb, News Center 4.
General abuse, beatings, solitary confinement, especially the corruption game, selling dope and selling things and working through the guards in this manner. I have reports that the guards are involved in some of the corruption. This comes to me from the prisoners themselves. I don't know the particular details, but I assume yes, that they will. I think he was idealistic, and he sought to reform the prison conditions. And when he got involved, it kept growing into larger incidents, and the guards resented his involvement in it. And he did have a driving. He didn't back up from the challenge of it, and he should have. And there's some personal liability involved in the acts that are though in the legal part of it at all. That will be entirely up to his advisement. I'm sure that he will.
The men that are working at the stations know what they're required to do, they know what they have to do, and they know what they need to do it. Their concern is they don't have neither the manpower or the tools to do it. That's why they're concerned about the protection that the citizens of Oklahoma City are getting, because the protection is just simply not there. When you don't need us, you don't need us, but when you do, we need every piece of equipment and manpower there to do our job.
you tell him we were coming?
Who?
That fish.
No. I don't know how to talk to a fish.
Well, you don't.
No.